I'm going to unbox the Fantom Drive's GeForce MegaDisk Quad Interface hard drive. I've never heard of the Fantom devices brand before, and the GeForce MegaDisk, never heard of it. Just doing some research online, I found these. I was looking for an 8 terabyte drive to edit on, and I wanted something as cheap as possible but robust enough to edit video, 4K video, all kinds of video with Premiere Pro and Final Cut 10. So I was looking at the bunch of drives, and I usually get the G-Tech drives, but they were upwards of $400 for the 8 terabyte. And this is 8 terabytes at 7200 RPM hard drive, disk drive. And the interface had interfaces that I thought went extinct, but they have them here. So they have the eSATA, the FireWire 800, and a FireWire 400. So this is also the USB 3.0. This is one of the only modern drives I've seen that has FireWire 400 and 800. They've been phasing those ports out, and the eSATAs they've been phasing out. The eSATAs are surprisingly really fast still. They've always been fast, and I used to use eSATA a lot, and I have a hub that can connect to the eSATA on my computer. So I thought, well, if I use this with eSATA, I trust that connection, that the speed of it for video editing. Why not give this a shot? It had a few good ratings, not a lot of good ratings, but it had enough to gain my confidence. So I bought it. This was pretty cheap. This was under $300. I believe this was like $290 at B&H Photo where I purchased this. I like the look of this drive. It's a nice weight. It seems pretty sturdy. It's like a nice little wall power. Alright, so I was using the Fantom drive now for the first time. I was transferring over a lot of data. Usually I use RAIDs to edit with, but I'm working on a project where I couldn't afford it, so I was editing on an 8 terabyte drive, and I needed to have a duplicate that's, it's kind of like a RAID. Give you redundancy. That's really what I needed. So I plugged all this stuff in, and I was testing out the ports and seeing what really worked. When I plugged this in, it was not really noisy, but I could hear the internal drive in there spinning. I wanted to test the eSATA and the USB 3.0 speed. The eSATA, I have an adapter. I have a CalDigit TS3 that goes into my iMac via USB-C, and the eSATA was faster than the USB 3.0. It's not a scientific calculation, but I was transferring 6 terabytes of data, and then when I used the eSATA connection, the Mac Finder said it was going to take about 12 hours to transfer 6 terabytes. And the USB 3.0 connection said it was going to take 17 hours. So there was quite a bit of a difference in the speed. And I was transferring from a Thunderbolt 2 drive. So there's a lot of variables here, so it's not a scientific calculation, not a very accurate calculation, but the eSATA was a faster transfer speed than the USB 3.0, and I wasn't surprised. That's what I was kind of expecting. What I was disappointed with, though, was that I was hoping that these FireWire 800 and FireWire 400 ports were daisy chain, or I could daisy chain other drives to it. Because I have a few old FireWire drives. These are just 2 of the portable ones where they're FireWire 800 or USB 2.0, but they're FireWire 800, FireWire 400, and I need to have adapters. The Mac doesn't make an adapter that goes from FireWire 800 to USB-C, so I had to get this one that's a FireWire 800 to Thunderbolt 2, and then I need a Thunderbolt 2 to Thunderbolt 3 adapter. So I need 2 adapters just to use these drives here, or I can rip the drive out and put it in a dock, but I don't want to do that. So I got to get these adapters, and I was hoping that this drive, if I was going to use it, could also be used for the, so I can daisy chain and power those drives. It didn't really work. I also have HDV camera. I have a lot of HDV tapes and mini DV tapes that I still want to digitize. This is the Canon HV40, which is the best, probably the last, but the best consumer HDV camcorder that can still be used as a deck, HDV and mini DV deck, using the FireWire port. And I was hoping the FireWire port here, say I have a FireWire cable. This is what FireWire looks like for those of you who've never seen FireWire before. So this goes into the camera, and then this is the FireWire 800 that if I'm digitizing footage, I have to use this dongle, and I go from FireWire to Thunderbolt 2, and then I need another adapter, Thunderbolt 2 to Thunderbolt 3, just to get inside the computer. Or what I could do is, if I had a I/O device, I can use the HDMI and then transfer it that way. But other than that, you know, I got it because it was under $300, 8 terabytes, 7200 RPM hard drive. It had decent reviews. I've never used this brand before, but so far it did what I expected it to do, and I'm happy with it.